I'll engage in teaching the Dharma free of the 8 worldly concerns. I will engage in the teaching of Dharma free from the 8 worldly concerns and wanting to get something, praise, or to look good, to get material gifts, to get respect. I will free my motivation for elucidating the Dharma from those 8 worldly concerns. I will elucidate the Dharma without hurting or desecrating another person's mind, but with the motivation of pointing out what causes our sufferings. I will elucidate the Dharma with the motivation that the highest form of practice, one of them is listening to the Dharma and elucidating the Dharma, because it is through knowledge we can become enlightened. And I will teach the Dharma, I will elucidate the Dharma, because I have made vows and promises to my Vajra gurus and my Adamatin Dharma protectors. Although I am not good, although I am not a worthy object, and although I am not practiced or advanced, by their command of the Vajra gurus and the command of the Adamatin Dharma protectors, and to show that I have faith, and to show that I want to practice, and to offer something back to them, I will elucidate the Dharma, and all the tribulations and trials and difficulties and problems and obstacles that arise from elucidating the Dharma, to even be here at this moment to teach the Dharma, and all the effort that it took to be here for me, I will see that as methods to purify my negative karma, as commanded by my gurus, and who were kindly advised to me by my Adamatin Dharma protectors. So, without making offerings and a lot of praise and incense and telling about their miracles and how they are to praise them, I will praise them by elucidating the Dharma. I will praise them by accepting all the trials, tribulations, and difficulties and sufferings and problems that come along to even giving one class, and the obstacles that have to be overcome. Because definitely they have foresaw all of this, yet they still ask me to do it. And if I truly have refuge, I will do it irregardless of the difficulties that I have to go through. So I will accept and I will elucidate and teach the Dharma as a pure, untainted offering to my gurus and to my Adamatin Dharma protectors, because that is their command. And their command is definitely for my benefit, short and long term, and the benefit of others. I will do it for that motivation. We should do it for the previous motivations that I mentioned. I will listen to the Dharma, awake and attentive, with a clear, sharp mind, without bias, with an open mind, in order that I can find even more methods to help myself, to help all the people that I owe Maya, and in fact, to everyone. Somehow, I have aspirations of freedom, Tantrayam. For this reason, I will therefore engage in listening to the Dharma and making the efforts to get here, and clearing my obstacles to get here, and clearing difficulties. There's one person that I've consistently invited week after week after week. They cannot make it. Just cannot. They're away, they're in another town, they're here all the time. Yet they want to see me, they're always requesting, they cannot make it all the time. So I realized it's not easy getting to a Dharma group. It's not easy listening to the Dharma. Do you know why? When we listen to the Dharma, we are cutting through the secret causes for us to suffer. And to hear those methods and to practice those methods require merit, perseverance, and effort. Do you know why? Because the result is very big and very long lasting. So therefore, if we want to be a billionaire, how much more money, how much more effort do we need to put into be that wealthy? If we want to be a supermodel, how much effort do we need to put into our bodies to attain that? It's much more than just being a Sears catalog model, a Jaya Jesco model. If you want to be a Jaya Jesco model, or you want to be a model or one of the top designers in the world. There's a difference in the effort, the discipline that you have to put in. And knowing the benefits will drive you. So when we listen to Dharma, we will know the benefits, it will drive us on. And at the same time, we learn the methods. So therefore, if we want to be super rich, we can't just open up a little 7-Eleven and sit there and expect to be super billionaires within 1 year. We have to go through a lot of sleepless nights, hard work, effort, robberies, people, licenses, supplies, cleanliness, the health department, government. And then we have to expand and we have to deal with human resources. We have to deal so much to reach that level. But we seem to know the benefit of that, and therefore we're able to go through it. Similarly, for anything we want to achieve, we need to know the benefits. When we know the benefits, and we meditate and contemplate on the benefits, you know what happens? From the inside, we will push. When we do not know the benefits, from the inside we cannot push. We need the outside to push us. So how do we solve the problem of wanting to be motivated and being motivated and consistent? Is contemplation and understanding and realization of the benefits of what we're doing. So if we don't engage in knowing the benefits, we will never push for a great effort and it will not be sustained. And also, we need consistent outer influence to push us. And the minute the outer influence is gone, we're gone. And that shows clearly that we don't know the real benefits. We don't know the real benefits. So what happens is, that's why we should listen to the Dharma with that type of motivation. Not just today, always. Always. I love my parents so much. And they suffer on a subtle level, on a gross level, whatever level, so much, and I may not be able to do anything for them. And I may not do anything for them now. But I will return their kindness by listening to the Dharma, contemplating the Dharma, and achieving the Dharma. Because when I achieve the Dharma, I will have the true methods of helping them. Because right now, it's just aspirational wishes, which doesn't amount to anything. Nothing. Because you have to create the causes for the aspirational wishes to ripen or manifest. So therefore, when we practice Dharma, when we hold vows, example, if we see certain things that are suffering and unhappy, we can't do anything directly. Maybe we want to, we can't for whatever reasons, positive and negative. But instead of whining, complaining, and just talking about it and making people feel that we're wonderful people because we want to do something, but we actually don't. Right now, on a very simplistic level, we can do something. We can take vows. We can make 3 prostrations to our Guru and take a vow. We can make 3 prostrations to the holy image of enlightened mind on our altars, anywhere, a picture. 3 prostrations, and then we fold our hands and we say, for all the people in Iraq who has died during the war, may they have great rebirths. May they not take rebirths in violent places that they have to suffer fear and torture and death and unhappiness untimely. And for this 1 week, I will not sing. I will not wear ornaments. I will not wear bright clothes. I will not wear cosmetics. I will not wear perfume. I will not, perhaps eat meat. I will take 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day. Whatever you wish, and then you take that vow, and you make the motivation, and you dedicate to those people. And you may think, but that's so small. It's true. Hundreds of thousands of people died, and it's so small what you're doing. But don't let your mind trick you by saying it's too small, and therefore you don't do it, and it's too big, you can't do it, then you're stuck there again. You start. How do you start? By not being recognized for what you do. How do you start? By doing this on a personal level, and some type of small personal sacrifice that you can feel immediately. And then how do you do it? By dedicating to those people, or whatever group that you want to dedicate to. Without people knowing, without advertisement, and without making a big fanfare, then it becomes real. And then you do this on a constant basis. And when you do this on a constant basis, a lot of things happen. You definitely help them indirectly. You push your spiritual practice. Why? Because you suppress the self-cherishing mind that wants comfort for oneself. And then you're taking a vow or commitment in front of an enlightened being. Therefore, that has great amount of power because they are an enlightened being. And then, when you train yourself up to do that, you can do more and more and more and more. And you know what happens? When you do that and you hold your vows, even at a small level, at a low level, and you consistently do it, you know what happens? You will notice from holding your vows that you will find many things that annoy you. Stop. Stop annoying you. Do you know why? The vows give you strength, give you power, give you ability. Make you be able to take more, accept more. That's the ability you will get. So if you find yourself very irritated easily, and you can't control your anger, and you just lash out, and you just tell people off, and you just express it, and then you're embarrassed to say the day after that, it's a clear case that you have not put any type of difficulties on yourself, and you didn't want to put difficulties. That you made it easy for yourself. And you made it easy for yourself for many years, and lifetimes perhaps. And therefore, you get irritated very easily. As I said, if that comes from genealogy in our parents, then every single child that comes out from our parents must be exactly like that. We're not. So that proves it's not. If it comes from all loving, compassionate deity, then we have to resemble that deity. And all of us definitely do not. So it has to come from somewhere. And then if people say environmental, no. You hear the horrible worst cases of environmental situations. And people suffer tremendously. Yet they can come out with courage. And some people are in the best situation, like in Malaysia. Everything is there. Means all that we need, all of this is there. Yet we still can't push what we practice or improve. That shows clearly that it is not environmental. The ultimate cause is not environmental, not genealogy, and not from an all-pervading deity that controls everything. It must come from another source. And right now, whether we accept karma or not 100%, it is the likely previous life, imprints, habituation. It is the most likely explanation and the one that explains away most things. And if we can't be fully convicted in that 100%, it's okay. Do you know why? What are we really fully convicted in our life? But yet, a lot of things we continue doing. Are we convicted 100% if we work hard, we get rich? No, there are so many examples of that. Are we totally convicted that if we totally focus on our body, go to the gym, work out, and never eat anything ugly and nasty for our body, we will be totally healthy? No. There are people who keep a regime and overnight they collapse. Then is it true that if we get a lot of exposure, we get a lot of camera and lights and action and people know we go to the best parties, we look the best, we have the greatest hair, greatest clothes, whatever, that we'll become famous and then money and people and everything will follow us and happiness will follow and lack of loneliness? No. We have many examples of that. So where does that all come from? The best explanation is karma and the imprints that we have made and the karmic effects of those actions we have done. So that explains most of it. And I think instead of sitting here for the rest of our lives, for the next few years, wasting our time debating and talking and having a cup of tea and analyzing is true or not true, not true, not true, true or true, true, true or not true, that basis and that belief can explain away a lot of problems that will help you to save time and procrastination and hiding and running and not doing to make you do something. So my point is this, if you want 100% proof, you have to have the qualities to be able to perceive the truth. If you yourself don't have 100% qualities to perceive the truth, even if the truth is given to you 100%, you cannot perceive. You cannot understand. A professor of engineering can explain to me everything he knows, and he can spend hours and days and be very devoted, and I can come out knowing nothing because I don't have the basis. I'm not educated. It doesn't work. So it doesn't mean he's wrong. Doesn't mean lack of effort. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. I don't have the basis. Similarly, to sit there and make excuses for not doing things and not become improving or engaging or doing something because you don't fully accept or understand, that's intellectual hogwash. That's intellectual games that your ego is playing to stop you from destroying itself. It's a protection kind of thing. So many people have many ways. Many beings have many ways. So some people say, well, if I can't fully accept it, I can't do it. How can you fully accept things that you can't fully even perceive? But if you feel 60-70%, it's quite good. Even 30-40%. Because it's better to believing in that and doing something about your life. And if that is the crust of what makes you do things, it's wonderful. That's why I say all religions are wonderful, because if the all one-knowing monotheistic God is what motivates you to do things, because he's always watching you, and that works. Fabulous. Do it. It worked for the Pope, and look what a great man he was. Great. It worked for Mother Teresa. Great. And she sure, instead of we sit there saying we don't believe, we're atheists, we don't believe in God, and we would just waste our whole life just with our silly beliefs that we argue back and forth and waste time on. And we just debate, but we never do. And if it works, why not? There are beautiful Jewish people out there, beautiful Muslim people out there. I have so many Muslim friends in India, and they're so helpful and kind. And they are that way because of their religion. I met this beautiful Muslim woman from Iran in India. He came to visit. His son married an Indian lady from Goa, and his name was Hassan, and the lady's name, she was a Christian, he was a Muslim. They lived together in Hooghly, and the mother came to visit. She didn't speak a word of English. All she did was sit there and chant on her green prayer beads. And we all ate together. I'm a Buddhist, they're Muslim, and there's a Christian, and we all got along. I mean, there was no issue at all. And then I just remarked, hey, your mala is beautiful. She just took it off and gave it to me immediately. I said, oh God, that's a real Muslim, because she can give no attachment. She's definitely not rich. And I thought to myself at that time, I am right. And it reconfirmed what this whole one says, all religions are beneficial. Because why? Whatever it takes. And if you believe in karma, that works for you. It works for me. You see, people who believe in monotheism, they find a lot of flaws in karma, and vice versa. So why debate, why argue? Let's just move on. If we can save 100,000 people in a lifetime because we believe in karma, do it. Quit wasting your time not saving 100,000 people and debating whether there's God or karma. And that's definitely better than free thinking, because free thinking is you're really free. You're free of everything. You're free of responsibilities. You're free of everything. And people like that. They're like, I'm a free thinker. What it is this. You're a free thinker, wonderful, but can you freely help also? I mean, it's all my delineations cover. So my point is this, is to stop playing and stop fooling ourselves with all kinds of intellectual debates, reasons for not achieving, excuses for covering who we are. Why? In the end, the result only comes back to us. And that's the point. So yesterday we were rude, and we said rude things and offended people. The effects will come. And today, the immediate effects will people have a bad view on us. And no matter how much we apologize over and over, we say this and this and this, the damage has been done, and it takes time. And it depends on the level of the people who you're explaining to and how advanced they are. Because if they're not advanced, you can destroy them. You can make them lose hope. You can destroy their practice. You can destroy their path. You can destroy everything. So it depends on their level of their practice. It isn't just you explaining. And that's very important. So the more we actually practice, the more we learn. The best part in the beginning, in the middle, and the end is learning the Dharma. Listening to the Dharma, reading the Dharma, and not just sitting there with your mouth open in front of your lecturer and giving information, but actually prepare yourself beforehand to read. And then when you go, the information just comes in matches. And then what happens? you will see you have more knowledge to give you strength to do what you want to do. You stop your games of, I don't want to, I don't understand, this doesn't work, I don't really know, and then instead of doing something, what do you actually do with yourselves? I mean, this is not criticism. Think, what do you actually do of any value or work to anyone? What do you actually do? And then we continue doing really nothing by excuses, mental games, intellectual pursuits, and it goes on and on and on. And I've seen that with excuse in the monasteries, with some great geshes who are so learned, and they just talk about it, they debate about it, and they love it. But when you watch their actions, you go, oh, it's sad. And there are some geshes in the monastery, like Gen Punzok's teacher, as you have seen, and I've been observing him for many years, but I don't need to observe him. They practice what they learn. Very humble. They can take adversity. They can take difficulty. They can absorb problems and difficulties. They can take insults. They can take accusations. And they've been accused. I've seen it. I was with them. They can take the whole Sangha looking down on them, and they remain still, and they remain full, and they remain focused. And then after a while, the problem clears up on its own. I've seen it. I've seen it in the monasteries. Because there are wonderful monks, most of them, and there are funny ones. And when we all get together for a meeting of 1,000 monks, can you imagine how many hours they're discussing things? It goes on for days and weeks. And some monks are accused. The Sangha will say, you did that, you did that, you did that, you did that. That happened when they went to America on a tour, and they came back. 2 monks were severely accused, and one of the monks is a great translator, a scholar. Without him, the whole trip could not have manifested. He was a secretary, he got their passports and visas, he did translation, they saw the newspaper, they went to Mexico, America, Canada, and they met the mayors, they met elite, they met stars, and their tour took a year, and this 1 month arranged for the other 9 months. Everything, translation, talking, explanations, even when the high lamas in a group were giving initiation, he had to be there. And then even before they gave initiation teachings, he had to be awake 24/7 to prepare for everything so the monks can come and do everything. So he really, really worked, and they brought back a lot of offerings. And they made themselves very well known. They made the monastery very well known in America. Very well known. And that was the first tour group. And when they came back, one of the other monks was not happy about him for some reason. And he started accusing him of this, and this. And the evidence was circumstantial and flimsy. I didn't support. But they accused him so much that he was very hurt. And he was very angry. And he was very upset. I don't want to say his name because he's very well known. And this is on tape. And that's out of respect for him. And what happens was, he worked so hard, he did everything. But you know what happened? Although he was hurt and disappointed, he continued. And he did even more. And he's working for more associations now, Buddhist associations, and he's even growing more and more. You know why? Because he didn't explain people to respect him. He commanded their respect by not following him. And it was after 2-3 years that the case was cleared. And even there are 1 or 2 monks in the monastery who still think that he kept some money. And we all know he didn't. I know him personally. Yet his case is clear. He's doing incredible works now. Incredible. One of his best friends, and that's how learned they are, is a personal translator of the Dalai Lama today. They're from Ganeshansi Monastery. And I know them. I used to pretend I was one of them, hang out, but then I realized I had to put my tail between my legs and disappear. Oh yes. And now he's dedicating his whole life to other associations, Buddhism, gone in everywhere. You know why? Because he never gave up what his guru and his Dharma protector said. And that's what he told me. He says, I don't care what people say about me. He says, because my gurus and my Dharma protector has entrusted me. And I'm going to follow that. I said, wow. I used to go to his guru. He had a picture of his guru, Rinpoche, and his Dharma protector. That was it. Not even a statue, just a picture. Lots of offerings in the front, not silver, normal, and then butter lamps. That was it. Every day he did an incense offering. I said, oh. He says, that's all I listen to is my guru and my Dharma protector. And he's highly educated, by the way, highly. And he's a Nyingma. And he came to London to study. And he works for the cause of Buddhism now. Writing, giving interviews, talking. He's very learned. Speaks perfect Hindi, speaks perfect English, speaks perfect Tibetan. And by the way, his English is self-learned. He didn't go someplace, he didn't have the money to go someplace. It's self-learned. He pushed himself to learn, and he's a monk. So you know what happened? Now he's very well known, very beneficial. He's well known all over the place. And I know why, because of that first tour and what happened to him. We were all there. We were amazed. Some of the other monks who felt slighted and unhappy, they went away, they didn't want to do it anymore. They went into obscurity. You don't hear about them anymore. I don't even know where they are actually. I know they're in the monastery, but they're not doing anything. And then we talk to them, and they always say, well, that's what happened to me, that's why I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, oh. I mean, in the beginning it was quite okay, you're sympathetic, but when it goes on and on and on, it just drags on, you go, oh. And then you start thinking, but you're a monk, but don't you hold vows, and aren't you supposed to forgive? And that. You know, you start thinking that after some time, but in the beginning you don't, you're sympathetic. Why? They sound very genuine. And they probably are from their point of view. But you see, in the monastery, what's beautiful about the monastery is you live with 1,000 other people, men, and they come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different provinces, different whatever, and they all have their views. And when you get in the meeting, you are accused of things, and you are pointing at things. I work for the education department. And boy, do they say things about you that are totally inconceivable. And you know what you do? When you're with elite monks and elite masters, you train yourself, okay, I'll control myself, I won't freak out, I won't, nothing. And you just keep doing it. And that's what I learned in the monastery, resilience. Resilience. What's the resilience? Is we have to focus on the higher goal. We have to put our minds towards something higher and bigger than the immediate problem, the immediate difficulties, the immediate unhappiness, or the immediate pain. Example, if we break our neck, I've read that in Reader's Digest, people when skiing, they break their spine from neck down, they're paralyzed. But within 2-3 years, they're back in the Olympics. Because they focus on higher goal. Some people focus on the difficulties their mother had when they were younger to put them through school and get them there. So in order to reward their mother, they don't give up. Because if they give up, their mother is sympathetic. You know, you broke your neck, you broke your spine, of course you're not ever going to walk again. And when the mother is so kind like that, they just know, they say, I'm going to do it. And I read that in Reader's Digest again and again. And what is that? Focusing on a higher purpose. Focusing on a higher purpose. And focusing on a higher purpose in Dharma, such as one's teacher, an enlightened being, or a promise or vow we have made, generates great amount of merit to make our purpose come true. You know, we don't collect much merit from offerings, silver items, and flowers and donating to temples. We do, but it's not as much as when we make a secret effort, and that is to conquer the secret delusion. And how? By attacking it, by doing it. When people stay in a cave and they want to give up, they don't give up. When people go on tour for the monastery, they don't give up. And that generates great amount of merit because it's harder than this. That's very simple, it's harder. And if we say it's too hard, I'm not at that level, you have to make yourself at that level by doing it now. There's no time, there's no right time or right place or whatever, because death is at your doorstep all the time. So the right time is now, immediately. And that's what I've learned very much in the monasteries. And I think that helped me to be here in Malaysia in the beginning. Because in the beginning it was a very, very big struggle for me in Malaysia. Huge, monumental. Huge. Just even finding a place to stay. It was incredible. It was monumental. And I had help, but not as much as now, not as firm and steady as now. And it was always, anytime there was upheaval, if someone's happy, I had to move out from their house. If I didn't do divination, then I had to move out. It was always upheaval. And I went through years and years and years of that in Malaysia, in the monastery. The monastery had a whole set of other problems that were more legal because, you know, I couldn't get visas to stay, so I had to hide out. Literally, for 8 years, I hid out. Oh, yeah. And eventually become very friendly with the police, and then it was understood, and then we just got quiet. And in the end, I didn't have visa or anything for India. I literally, I couldn't leave India at all because I didn't have anything. But I didn't care, you know why? Because I wanted to stay and do retreats. I didn't care. I thought it was a visa. I have a visa here. And so what happens is, you know how you overcome difficulties. You know how you do secret practice simultaneously with secret tantra. Is fight your mind that says you cannot. And not when you're ready. When you're not ready is when you have to do it. When you feel that anger coming up, fight it. Not fight it with other people who made you angry. Fight your anger. You know, when you are not ready for it, that's when you are ready for it. How many years have passed and you're not ready for it? I've been telling that to myself for years, I'm not ready for it. But I finally said to myself, okay, I'm ready, because I'm not ready. And I'm not trying to be funny here. It is true. And that's what secret practices, esoteric Buddhism is you attack your secret delusions and unhappiness. You attack your secret cause. Secret meaning it's so deep and so dark and so in us, it cannot be perceived by anyone simply. But it's what makes us do what we do on our level. And that's the cause of our sufferings. That secret delusion. And delays, failures, whatever. And our fear of success, and our fear of accomplishment. No one can advise us, no one can talk to us, no one can bribe us, no one can gift us, no one can threaten us into that. If we don't see a higher goal, and if we don't actually focus. There are people who are threatened to be shot if they don't do this or do that, and they say, shoot me. In Tibet, denounce His Holiness or we kill you, kill me. Many people died because they wouldn't denounce. Why? Equivalent to denouncing their refuge. They would die. So for us, it's not a matter of having a gun at our head. It's a matter of our delusions having a grenade at us all the time, ready to explode. And we explode all the time.